Hello, and welcome to what I suppose is the final episode of Rubble Warriors, as it is our Friday Q&A, in which we are joined by Mia and Laura. Hey, guys.
Hello.
So, just in case anyone doesn't know how little notice I gave Mia and Laura that I needed this, I don't remember exactly what time I messaged you two, but I feel like it was fairly into the evening by the time that I messaged, and it was just like, yeah, it was 9:30. Nope. Here we are. Yeah, it was 2 a.m.
Yeah.
2 a.m. on the day that I needed them to do it. And I messaged before going to sleep, do you want to play some D&D tomorrow night? And they both said yes several times.
Yeah, it wasn't a simple yes. It was many capitalized yeses.
Yes. Before I woke up the next morning, they had both agreed extremely eagerly. So thank you both for being available and enthusiastic about this little one shot. I had a really good time, and I hope that you did too. I was curious before we jump into viewer questions. Neither of you had ever played Hero Kids before, and so I was curious what you thought of your first taste of the system.
Perfect for a one shot.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
didn't know. Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
No, you. I was just waiting to make sure you were finished. That's all.
No, it's just like the best thing for one shot because you don't have to sit there staring at your character sheet wondering what to do. There's like the adorable little icons on it.
Yes.
And you get to use more than one dice. So there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, it was quite easy, despite the fact that I had to ask the same question several times over during the little campaign. It was super easy to manage and handle. And as a very new player, it was very helpful to kind of relax around, oh my God, what kind of rules am I going to need to know? And
Yeah.
I didn't have to track a lot or anything. So yeah, I really liked it. Yes.
And they're snacking. Yes. Mia, I'll tell you, the number one criticism of this game is the question that you kept having to ask about the distinction between you get a base die for skill checks, but not for combat checks. Like that's like the thing that everyone says is the biggest flaw in the system, that that it's inconsistent, and it's the only part of the rules that's not obvious on the sheet.
Right.
And so that you are not at all alone. And it was not a dumb question. It was it's a system that pitches itself as you just need to look at the character sheet, and there's this one thing that's not there. So not a dumb question, not a failing on your part, just one thing about the system that everyone kind of thinks is a little wonky.
That is extremely interesting. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, like, you asked the question, but I just was doing it wrong. So and then started doing it right after you asked.
Right. So. You're welcome.
Yeah. So, yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, I enjoyed it so much. It made me regret that I don't have any little ones in my life that I could play this with. And I was considering sharing, like, oh, I have to go find a little one and make them play this game. And then I thought, well, that sounds pretty messed up. Probably shouldn't say.
Well, you can
grab a child.
You could do what I do and immediately recommend it to any of your gaming RPG friends who have little ones. Have you played HeroForge? Hero Kids. That's my my go-to when I've got friends who play TTRPGs and they have little kids. I'm a big Hero Kids promoter.
So Philip, have you heard of Hero Kids? It's this
I
really
have.
cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
Pass it on.
I will, I assure you. Yeah, so we have some questions from our viewers. We also have some questions from you two. So I'll let you ask those at the end. From Emily, has a question for each of you. If you were joining the campaign full-time, what sort of character would you want to add to the strike force? Let's assume that aside from Mia potentially playing as Nardali, you can't choose a pre-existing character. So, for example, no Tommel.
Just a random example pulled out of thin air.
Yeah.
I was so happy that she said that because I wouldn't want to play as Tommel. I would want to play someone close to Tommel.
Yeah, that would get weird, I imagine. Yeah. Just having a crush on yourself. What is that like?
I thought about this way too much. Because I started thinking, obviously, of like, surface level things like, oh, what kind of dynamic would it have? Like, what kind of like class? And then like by the end of the day today, I was like, but why did they leave their parents in Karnath? So I made like a whole backstory for my character.
Awesome.
Amazing.
That I never decided why they did leave, but so that would be something that we figure out.
I was good. We'd work it out. We'd work on that. We have to workshop it together.
There were definitely things that I was like, I just don't know. I'd have to ask Philip about that.
So what kind of character are they?
Well, it's me, so it'd be a very like impulsive character.
Sure.
Who would touch the things and attack the things, but it would have to be held back enough because you can't like encourage shade too much,
Oh. Can't you?
Because you can only have one character who is like so ready to murder, But
Fair.
it would be some kind of sneaky character like a rogue. What level is everyone now?
They're level 11.
So I would be nearing my 3rd class at this point.
I was gonna say you'd probably be multi-classed at least once by now.
Oh yeah. So it would be like probably like a rogue and some kind of warlock. I was also like, oh, I'd have to like ask Philip like what kind of pact would be good for like or patron.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my character.
What would your aberrant power be?
Oh my god, yeah. That was something that I thought about too that I didn't write down, so I forgot.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna think about it when Mia answers.
Oh shoot! All right.
How about you, Mia?
This actually was. I did not put like a tenth of amount of the same amount of thought into it.
I was thinking of character art also.
Oh my god!
Awesome.
Okay, well you're gonna need to share that.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, with the framework, it wasn't. I saw the question as not so much what character would you like to play in this campaign, but what sort of character would I want to add to the strike force?
Okay.
And that was the part that was really sticking out for me. And I don't see an area in which they're lacking, like what?
Yes, that was the problem.
Okay, right. Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah. So then I thought I would not want to be a spellcaster because that is just far too many things to track. I obviously went to barbarian because that's just my happy place.
Sure.
And I thought, okay, it might be neat to have another barbarian to help carry the load for, with Pog.
Mhm.
And it might be neat to see how Pog interacts with another barbarian. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And the other thing I thought, let's say if I wanted to step out of my comfort zone, I was talking to Philip about this earlier. A bard seems really neat to me.
Mhm.
Not knowing much about the character class at all, and then learning even just a little bit about it, the amount that I like the idea that it's a strong support character, and I like the idea that they can do really, really cool things.
Mhm.
So it would be a barbarian or another sport character to help.
Cool.
I was thinking, like, wouldn't that also help Esri's healing?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have an aberrant power that you would want to have if you were going to create a player character for Kyber Shards?
Is teleportation an aberrant power?
It can be, yeah.
All right, 100% that. That's all I ever want in my real life is to be able to teleport. So that would be it.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be so convenient. Mine was time manipulation. Just like small bits at first, like, I
That's
can
how
cast
it
like
starts,
haste.
dear.
Yes, exactly. And then, like, the more we level up, the more it's like, and it turns into like an existential crisis because it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like I have too much power over reality, and
That would be,
Yeah.
I think, the most interesting flavor for a spell like Silvery Barbs is I'm rewinding time
yeah.
just a fraction and making the roll happen again.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
See,
cool. Yeah, that would be that's a potentially catastrophic power.
I literally
Chaos.
I like stopped myself. I was like, I'm gonna go like build my character sheet.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what kind of things I can play with that.
Sure.
Cool.
Cool. So Chris asks Mia and Laura, I can only imagine that jumping into a game in the middle of a campaign can be quite daunting, even if this was a one shot with brand new characters and systems. Given the extensive history between Eric, Philip, and Colin, what would you say were the biggest pros and cons of joining such an established group of friends at the table?
For me, the pros are I know you guys individually. I mean, obviously, I've met you like knowing each other, but I have individual relationships with each of you. And I know that you're funny and you all are very generous. And so I can feel safe in knowing that even if I do make a mistake, you guys are going to be awesome about it. And well, yeah. And also, you are all very tight. So there's going to be a similarity in personality type, where all of you have been very generous to me. So that I'd say is a pro. And honestly, the only con I could think of was the fact that I don't get the inside jokes. And I want to stop you every single time a joke is made. I want to say, all right, tell me the whole story behind this one. Tell me the whole story behind that one. Because it's not me feeling like, I don't feel like, meh, I'm left out. I feel more like, oh, gimme, share. What's that story?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The biggest con is imposter syndrome because
Right. All right.
but I mean, essentially what Mia said for just I'm very, very, very quiet when I play with people I don't know. So like, knowing everyone is like, this is good, this is fine, literally just going and playing with my friends. And I got to play with Mia and Colin, who I've never got to play with before.
No.
And I've been wanting to cause chaos with Mia for a very long time.
I can see that. Yeah.
And it's such an interesting dynamic with streaming and forming relationships with people, because Glomdy and I have spoken 100 million times to each other in messages back and forth, and I've watched their stream and they've watched my stream, but to actually speak with our voices in real time to each other is always, it takes a moment to go, wait a minute, we haven't actually done this before. So
Right.
it's super interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting reality of the world we live in now, where I mean, I knew Laura for over a year before I met them for the first time when you came to Gamer Nation Con, I think.
I think like a month.
Was it? Oh, okay. Maybe
Tomato,
three.
tomato.
And so just the way that you can build relationships through being content creators, through just hanging out online, and yet not do some of the really like basic things that you do in relation, like have a conversation with voices instead of just chat messages,
or like see your pants.
Right. Yeah, fair enough.
This is when I go, all right, stop, share the story. What's that whole thing about?
Oh, that's just a tweet I saw or something.
Nice.
It's like, internet friends are so funny because like I know your like deepest desires and flaws and insecurities, but I've never seen your feet.
Right.
That's true.
And there was, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. I'm gonna say Laura, even though that is weird for me to say, but the two of us before, like from the moment Philip asked us until the moment we pressed like go live, we were both back and forth going, oh my God, I'm so freaked out. Oh my God, me too. Oh my God. Like just, and we had this shared terror that I thought was like really helpful, because it was like, we're not alone. Each one of us is having an anxiety attack, and we're together in that.
Yeah.
So yay.
But like in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't that we were both amping each other up into more and more anxiety. We were saying, okay, it's not just me.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
We also had a shared moment right before we went on, and I was like, I'm putting my Drakir shirt on for comfort. Yes! And Mia was like, I have my unicorn onesie on.
Yes! So good.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, our last question from someone who's not already in this call is from Emily. Mia, do you think Nardali would like Malcolm or Dane more?
I mean, I don't know why these questions are being asked. It just seems like it's coming from out of nowhere. So I was, for folks who are not privy to the watch party conversations, when Philip introduced Dane, I was smitten immediately. And I checked in with my fiance and asked him, like, are you okay with me having a crush on this fictional character? He said, oh, yes, go ahead. Okay. So la, 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 drool, drool. And then Philip goes and introduces Malcolm. And I was like, oh, no, you're turning my head. This is unacceptable. So I think Nardali, and it's great because I can separate this. Like I can, as Nardali, have a crush on one, and as Mia have a crush on the other. And I will separate that in my head.
Oh my God, that's so perfect.
Yes, I truly have put that thought into it. I think Nardali would be very much more about Dane, because I think Dane he's very straightforward. He's directed. He knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's clear in it. and it's just he's very clear and strong in his convictions, and also kind of bloodlusty a little bit, or
Yep.
or rather, like, doesn't shy away from the aggressiveness of what his convictions would lead him to.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcolm's got that swagger and is awesome, but I don't think he has the same kind of conviction that Dane does that would make Gnarly be interested in him.
No, he's much more mercenary.
Yes, 100%.
Also, Dane carried Gnarly out of a burning building.
I know, right? Please.
I like the idea that Gnarly is like, I see something in him that I can like build upon, and that is I could make him more murderous.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a much more violent version of something there that wasn't there before from Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
with Gnarly and Dane.
Oh, my heart.
It's
All
so
right, I will be
romantic.
working on that.
Mia, archive of our own. Start your fanfic.
Yes, please.
Okay. Each of you are usually two of our most prolific question askers. And unsurprisingly, you submitted questions for this, your very own Q&A, which delights me.
Yay.
So yes, I'm just going to let you guys ask these questions instead of reading your questions for you to you, which feels weird. So Mia, you submitted first, so go ahead.
I did. So my question for you, Philip, is did the mini campaign or the one shot, did it go the way you expected? And were there any surprises?
It went roughly the way I expected. In the narrative played out more or less as I had planned it, which, by the way, is great for a one shot. Like, I'm usually never expecting that, and I've run one shots where you have players who decide to go, like, you guys were going down through a cavern I described. There's lots of like off-shooting passages. It would have been super easy, and I've definitely played with players who would have gone, I want to go explore the passage over there on the left. And now we're just off the rails and we're never going to finish. And so to have a group of players recognize that this is a one shot and we're going to kind of follow the direction that the story is leading, that was great. So it actually did play out more or less the way I expected, which in most cases would be surprising.
Right.
The biggest surprise for me was honestly just how immediately I talked about this with Colin, so I'm going to repeat myself a little bit. It was just how immediately the four of you just were these characters that I had made up. Like, you guys just played exactly who I know these characters to be in my head, and in many cases, like, better than I think I have been playing them. So that was, I knew when I honestly, I didn't know we were going to play Rubble Warren exactly when I asked you guys. And it was largely when I had the group of players assembled that I was like, you know who these players would do a really good job at playing.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so a lot of that came from having just the right group of players for that kind of game. And even so, even having kind of planned it that way, I was taken aback at how wonderfully you all portrayed and enhanced these characters, and did things with them that I hadn't really thought about. And so, like I said with Colin, I enjoyed learning things about these four characters by watching you guys play them, and that was really fun for me. So that was honestly the biggest surprise. You guys came up with creative solutions to a lot of the problems. sneaking past the guards with Ilya's darkness and making them decide the place was haunted. Your madcap scheme for rescuing the dragon and the egg. Like I knew you guys would come up with things to solve problems, obviously, but just again the way that you did and the delightful level of chaos was hugely fun. So and it shouldn't, but the obvious depth that everyone had put into thinking about their character when we started was like, Eric, I'm sure, has like a couple pages of notes about Bajak somewhere in a notebook. So that was surprising in all the best possible ways.
That is so exciting. I love that. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something else? No. Okay. So I will ask my next question, which is to Laura. I know we were both nervous beforehand. Was there one thing in particular that you had reservations about? Was there a specific thing?
I was so nervous about making Ilya sound like Ilya because I don't do voices,
Sure.
and I love hearing all the voices Philip does. So I was like, people are gonna be like disappointed that it's just like it's not good enough. I don't. I was so excited to play Ilya because she's awesome and because of the Drakir thing. But like also I don't play characters like that.
Like
so
what?
I was not goofy.
Okay.
I don't play serious characters because I feel like I can't. So I feel like I'm not good at it. So I was super worried about not doing Ilya well.
I like that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say you did Ilya extremely well, and voice is not about accent. Voice is about like the way you say things, and you absolutely nailed that in terms of the way Ilya should talk. The accent is just dressing.
The internet will be proud because I immediately started doing my research, and I immediately started watching videos, the episodes with Ilya in it.
Oh, that's amazing! That is amazing.
For that whole day at work, I can listen to things at work, and I was just skipping between parts and episodes.
I love it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and that's similar to what I was going to say is it's better to attempt to embody the person than try to mimic an accent, you know? And so, yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Laura had some questions.
I'm very curious if there was anything else that you thought about us doing other than Rubble Warriors.
I thought about doing something with Dane's group, with the Children of Kyber. I thought about having you guys go on an adventure for Dane, so there was a while back I had this notion that at some point we'd do a one shot that fully explored Dane's strike on that Kenneth facility, and I talked it out with Eric, and I said, the big issue is the way that I've presented Dane. He can't be like he's not a backseat leader, and so it's not going to be like Dane sends people to do this. Dane's obviously going to go, but I don't want to play a DM player character that's going to show up other people, and I don't know. I would worry about the pressure that someone would feel if I handed a character with that much weight over to them to play. And so Eric had basically responded with, well, obviously I should, he should run the one shot, and Philip should play Dane. And so I thought about asking Eric to do that. But again, the timing was so short that I didn't really want to ask Eric to throw together a full thing that would have narrative impact on the whole campaign at
Right.
large in that short amount of time. I'm sure he could have done it, but I still to this day don't know what things Eric might have canceled in order to do this at the last minute, because it was very last minute for him and Colin as well. So I ended up not doing that. I had a couple of notions for things that just wouldn't have been Kyber shards at all, that would have just been unrelated, just play a one shot sort of thing. But I was mostly, and then I had one that was, what was the other group in Stormreach I had thought about? I thought about having you guys play bad guys from the campaign, like play
With
agents
Tommel.
of the Emerald Claw, or
Cool.
or something like that, like doing something nefarious that would have consequences in the campaign later. But I couldn't come up with something good enough, and I really like the upshot of it is everything I was looking at. I just like I just really want something that's just going to be a lot of just fun.
Yeah.
And so doing this was where I landed, mostly just because I knew this would be nothing but fun.
Hey, it was perfect.
I love that went from like this super elite. Oh, I almost said Strike Force. You can't say that about Dane.
Well, you can say it if you spell it with an I.
Yeah, you're spelling an I in lower cases.
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
that's how I spelled it then when I just
Mhm.
said that. It's about Dane to like literal children.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's perfect because kids are fun.
kids
They
are.
really are.
Also, keeping on track, it's because Lavexi is awesome and we wanted to follow Lavexi.
Oh man. She breaks my heart every time. Everything you say as Lavexi just melts my entire being. I just want to chew her up. She's so amazing.
I don't know why, but every iteration of Lavexi, I mean, every iteration of Lavexi is adorable because of the voice, but every iteration of Lavexi is also tragic.
Mhm.
Like initially, the first Lavexi was had been a minion of a villain in the campaign, and the player characters had killed the villain, killed the two young dragons that were serving the villain, that were the
Oh.
dragons that the kobolds served, and then left, but not like tracked down the kobolds, because they weren't, just murder hobos.
Mhm.
And so I had, as they were going back, I had them notice that they were being followed by these kobolds, and it was just Lavexi leading a train of kobold refugees out of the ruins of their old lair. And she just became a recurring character through the campaign. And then Lavexi, in one of our Patreon campaigns that Laura played in, was just sort of a street urchin. I don't think we gave her a lot of background in that, but she was just
You
sort of a
just
street
found
urchin
her
that
and
you guys
adopted her.
found in a rummaging through the house of one of your sort of friends. And yeah, just adopted her. And then of course this version has the somewhat mysterious background of whatever happened with her tribe that she doesn't really talk about. So yeah, I don't know why every version of Lavexi is somewhat sad, but it is a delightful character that exists in pretty much everything I run.
And
So we can-
you follow that line really well. You keep to that line of tragic and adorable. Like it's a perfect balance, I think.
Well, thank
I don't know the other Lavexis, but this one just I want to smush her.
Well, the original Lavexi in my current home game, which is set after the events of the first one, is now become a semi-mythical figure to kobolds worldwide.
Whoa.
And is the operator of an international black market smuggling ring. sort of thing. So
Wow.
she's done well.
That's so good.
But the current, like the hilarious thing is the player characters in that campaign currently don't think Levexi is a real person. Like they think the kobolds are making her up.
Oh man,
which is
that's
which
super
is fun.
cool.
That feels like there's not enough Levexi in your new campaign.
She just you can't like just have Levexi show up yet. Plus it's fun because the players all know Levexi, but it's fun to watch them play their characters as doubting her existence, because what kobold could possibly do that? So,
Oh.
Levexi can.
That's right.
Levexi can do anything she wants.
That's true.
My Mia question is, how did it feel, or let me restart that. Playing Nardali versus playing Donabella, highs and lows of having to create a personality and having to get a personality right, which you obviously did perfectly, and everyone knew what.
Thank you. There was terror in each, as there was going to be, and I think for Nardali, the terror was, this is my first character. This is my first character ever, and I don't know. I didn't want her to be over the top. I kind of wanted to try something that was a lot more low key for me, and I love playing her. But the high with Nardali is that she's my character, so she's not anyone until I start to voice her, and she evolves as she goes. But with Donabella, that is just, this is a beloved character, and I'm being asked to step in her shoes. And that was like, first of all, it's a huge honor. But secondly, it really was, man. Like, you trust me with Donabella? Like, what? So, but the other part of that is, I was just sweating it because I want to get the caricature correct. And every time, like I said something, I was thinking, does Donabella say totally? Does she say awesome? Does she, so that was it. Like, just with Nardali, the pro is that she's, I'm creating her. And with Donabella, I'm stepping into the shoes of not just any character, but a character who we all adore. And you don't want to mess that up.
Like, it kind of feels like Donabella was made based on you.
Oh,
what you been her.
You played Donabella amazingly. Like, it was wonderful.
I appreciate that. I think I told you guys, I really appreciate that. I think I told you guys I was thinking of Donabella as who I would have been if I didn't grow up in dysfunction. Like, if I had a healthy upbringing. Let's see what that would look like. So,
no, I like that, and I agree. Colin and I were joking that this was like the version of the story the kids would tell.
Yes.
And his immediate thought of, this is definitely the version of the story that Donabella would tell, because we have played Donabella as flexible with or giving the truth scope.
Yes, perfect.
So, yes. Well, again, thank you both for jumping in on almost no notice. And taking on characters and letting us do this. This was so enormously fun, and it would have been less fun with anyone else. So
we've thanked you countless times, but we can say it again. Thank you so much for inviting. I'm speaking for both of us in this moment, inviting us to be a part of this. It was a blast.
Oh, good. I'm glad it was. And thank you all for...
one last thing to say.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Rewatching all the episodes in the watch party made me realize a lot sooner what Colin was doing with Cadric.
Oh, yes! Yes!
because I didn't realize until the very end when he was
Mhm.
like, "That was so cool," and I was like,
Oh.
"Oh." And then I picked up on every single thing he did.
And you threw him a little bone, which was really sweet.
That was so great.
Because when he said it, I just like said nothing because I was like so surprised. And then I was like, okay, I have to follow up on this one later.
No, but it was so perfect because it's like, I mean, they're not far apart in years, but they are far apart in experience. And so
Yes.
it made so much sense for Ilya to also not realize what what Kadric is doing, and then you know, it's like character growth for her to very kindly offer some of the affirmation back.
I tried to play it like it was really hard for her to say it next
Yes, it was great.
Agreed.
Oh, that was, yes, I enjoyed that a lot, and that is definitely part of the dynamic now because that was very funny. So yes.
Yay.
Well, thank you to all of our viewers for submitting questions. If you want to submit questions, you can find links to our Discord and all the other social media for the Laughing Tree down in the links in the description below, where you will also find links to Mia and Glomdy's Twitch channels, as well as to Laura's shop, Lazy Fox Creates, where she makes awesome things, mostly out of leather. So go check all of those things out if you haven't already. And if you have, do it again.
Yes, please.
Monday, we'll be back with an episode of Kyber Shards, all things just working, assuming that nothing terrible happens in the next, 24 hours between.
Knock on wood.
That's when we're recording. So, and then we'll have back to Kyber Shard Answers next Fridays. And until next time, thanks for rolling with us.
Bye.